March 27th may be our release date for the Duskbloods here, or is it? Yesterday, it was discovered that the Australian eShop had put up a listing for the Duskbloods, as well as a Finnish retailer had also put up a listing for the game with a release date of March 27th, which is like a little over a month away from the day I'm recording this. Also, it's been spotted that there are some kind of ads running on Reddit for the Duskbloods. It's very interesting. It's all coincidence? I think not, but the problem is then this Finnish retailer then walked back the release date and is now saying it's going to be December 31st, which a lot of like early game like pre-orders will do when it's like, okay, it's going to come out sometime this year. We just don't have like a solid release date for this game. So it did, Nintendo or FromSoft come in, kind of slap their hand, be like, hey, we're not ready for this yet. It could have been a situation like that. Or is it, they kind of jumped the gun, just threw out a number. Maybe it was an original release date for the game, and now they're walking it back because as of right now there just isn't a set in stone release date for this game. And I think I really don't know. I really don't know. We know that there is a rumored, which, take these with massive grains of salt, but a possible rumored first-party Nintendo Direct coming next week. Is that going to happen? I guess we'll see. It's just very interesting because I remember when they announced the Duskbloods originally, my thought was, we're a year out. They're going to probably drop this in March or April of next year, which is now this year. And so far, other than the Miyazaki interview that was published like right after that reveal, we've got nothing. The last time we officially saw, as far as I'm aware, any kind of like representation for the game in an official capacity was at the Game Awards, where there was basically a little like sizzle reel of games coming to the Switch in 2026, and the Duskbloods was part of that. And that was it. And that was the only like FromSoft presence at the Game Awards either. Like, we didn't get anything about this other rumored game that's supposed to come out later in the year. We had already, I guess we had already had the Forsaken Hollows DLC that came out earlier that month, so there wasn't anything else to say about Night Rain. And we do have the Tarnished edition of Elden Ring that is probably coming this year. Again, we also don't have anything, solid on that. I've seen people speculating that, when they announce the release for the Duskbloods, they're going to shadow drop Elden Ring. I don't know. They've already kind of like talked about this game some, saying, hey, we got to go back, we got to rework this, get performance better, which I'm glad. I would rather them wait and put out a game that is more polished for people who want to play it on the Switch than put out what was apparently being teased at these events, which was very laggy, very, very poor performance, frame drops, and, let's get it as good as we can on the Switch, because we've seen games performing very well on the Switch 2 hardware. It just, for whatever reason, Elden Ring seemed like it was a challenge, which is kind of my biggest concern with Duskbloods, is what is the performance of this game going to look like? Are we hitting 60 FPS? I assume we're going to hit 4K, but is it going to be 60 FPS, or are we stuck at 30? And that's my biggest concern, as well as, what does online play look like for a game that's coming on a console that with, not the best online service, as well as FromSoft, who's also notorious for questionable online performance of how their games kind of work. Now, like Night Rain, I think is a step up. I've really not had a super huge problem with the online aspect of Night Rain, other than sometimes you'll queue up, you'll sit and sit and sit, then you unready, and then you ready up again, and then it'll immediately put you in a lobby with some other people. Beyond that, I've never had an issue with Night Rain's online, unless it was like on my end kind of thing. So hopefully they've worked through some of that, and Duskbloods does come out and it's like, okay, we're going crazy now, and maybe this is the one that Nintendo's like, hey, we can be a competitor or at least bring something good game-wise to the online space for video games, for playing multiplayer with people. I want this game to succeed. I want it to be incredible. I want it to blow me away. I mean, the visuals alone that we've seen, which there were some images that were released with these listings as well. Most of them we had already seen. I'm pretty sure the only one we hadn't seen before was the train station one, but everything else had already been revealed before. So there's not a lot new here other than, do we have a release date? Is this what the release date actually is going to be, which is March 27th, which is like right around the corner. We don't have, again, with no trailers, nothing new, you know, no gameplay showcase, and maybe that's what they're going to do at this Nintendo Direct. It's just crazy that there is a non-zero chance that in a little over a month from now, we are going to be playing the Duskbloods, when we had like still no real official information. I mean, these listings are something, like I don't think they just pop out of nowhere, but it's not from Nintendo, FromSoft saying, hey, this is what we're doing, we're coming out March 27th, you know, who knows. I mean, again, it could have been a situation where they kind of jumped the gun, they put up maybe an old release date for the game, and maybe things have changed since then. You have no idea. But this is interesting. This is the first real anything for the Duskbloods we've had in almost a year. Well, maybe we get more. Maybe in a week from now, I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's coming out in a month. Let me talk about that gameplay. Because what we've seen so far, I think looks good. Again, my biggest concern is performance with this game. Like, how does it play? How well does it play? But I think in terms of the game itself, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be fun. I really enjoy Night Rain for the most part. And seeing as this is actually coming from Miyazaki himself, I think the bar for it being like even more exceptional is much higher. And I have a lot more faith in it actually delivering something that's probably pretty different than maybe stuff we've seen before, that I think will probably stick the landing. But again, if this is capped at 30 FPS, I don't know what we're gonna do it all over again. It's gonna be Bloodborne 2, and not in terms of gameplay, because I don't think this game is gonna play like Bloodborne. In terms of, I mean, I think you're gonna have characters that do sidestepping, things like that. We've already seen that with Night Rain. I don't think guns are going to work the same. I think they are going to be more like your bows and arrows in Elden Ring and Dark Souls, as opposed to being basically a parry mechanic in Bloodborne, which I loved. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just kind of, from what we've seen with one of the characters using more of like a Tommy gun or something like that, I just don't see that being a parry mechanic. I don't know, it's not how it kind of seemed like it was being presented. Could be wrong, but I do think this game will be fun. You know, it is unfortunate it's been beaten to death. Everyone's like, oh, why is this a Switch 2 exclusive? Obviously Nintendo put up who knows how much to make sure this game was an exclusive for their platform, so that it's a console seller. There are FromSoft fans who have bought a Switch 2 specifically to play this game, and that's exactly what they wanted. That's exactly what they were going for. I would much rather be playing this game on my PlayStation 5, being real, or have this available for people on PC, Xbox, whatever. I think just performance alone would be so much better. I love trophy hunting in these games. Not going to be able to do that because there's no achievement system in Nintendo. But I guess we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how this all pans out. I mean, we don't need, as far as we know, it's a full exclusive to Nintendo. There's been no word on it being a timed exclusive, and I do think that if it is present at this alleged first party Nintendo Direct that could be coming next week, that's the final nail in the coffin. This is a Nintendo game, first party game. It's never leaving the Switch 2, which, sad, and will probably make emulation even more of a headache than it was to get Bloodborne. But, what can you do? Regardless, I am excited for it. I am excited to have another game to play on my Switch 2. I bought my Switch 2 because I wanted a Switch 2. But this was like, icing on top of the cake for me. I understand for a lot of people, maybe they're not interested in like Nintendo first party games like Zelda or Animal Crossing, Mario, Donkey Kong, whatever. A lot of those games I absolutely love. Like Breath of the Wild is like a top 3 favorite game of all time for me. I love Animal Crossing, but I understand, you know, a lot of Souls players, they're not interested in a lot of the stuff coming to the Switch that, yeah, a lot of your third-party games are going to play worse there than they do on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, what have you. So I understand for those people it is frustrating. And I'm kind of with you in the sense that I would prefer this game come to other consoles instead of the Switch 2, or only be on the Switch 2. But unfortunately, this is the hand we've been dealt. And yeah, I feel like there's no sense in complaining about it anymore. Every time I look at comment sections, it's people upset. And, you know, sucks. It really does. But there's nothing that can be done. So that's all we know about the Duskbloods as of today. This all kind of broke last night and some of it this morning, and I wanted to make a video on it, talk about it, because I've done some stuff about the Duskbloods, and a lot of people seem to be kind of interested in that on my channel. So I'm gonna keep talking about it. I'm gonna keep making content on this up until release, and then I'm gonna be putting out gameplay stuff and talking about it and see if I even like it. I hope I do. I think I will. It looks cool. We just need more information. We need actual gameplay discussion of it. And again, what does performance look like? But if you like this video, give me a sub, like the video, go follow me on TikTok. I make a lot of content like this over there, just more like me talking about it to my camera, or kind of meme stuff about Souls games, a lot of Bloodborne, Elden Ring. I've been playing through Shadow of the Erdtree again, doing my no summons run, so I'm posting about some of that over there as well. So again, subscribe, go give me a follow on TikTok, and I will see you guys in the next one.